When Sir Tim Berners-Lee developed the early form of the internet just 20 years ago, I don't think even he could have imagined the scale and the size of the transactions that take place across the UK. There's now 109 billion websites out there, and about 3/4 of them have commercial applications. And indeed, when my own dad bought me that shiny ZX Spectrum in about 1985, none of us could have believed the extent to which we rely on it to do banking and shopping, etc. The UK is a real success story. It has transactions equivalent to about £50 billion a year, leading the way through Europe, more transactions than anywhere else in the European Union. Even through a recession, it's growing at about 13% per year. But I wonder whether our skills as shoppers are growing at a similar rate. And I wonder whether the globalization of this marketplace is matched with globalization of consumer protection, skills and infrastructure. I would suggest the answer is not, and that's why we're here today. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to just talk through a few basic slides based upon some surveys that we've done recently, and to talk about some skills that we want shoppers to take away. And I'm also going to hand over to Arjun. Arjun, of course, as you will know, is the winner of BBC's Junior Apprentice. Great to have you here, Arjun. Arjun will talk through some of his experiences and also talk you through some of these wonderful items we have in front of us. And then I'll invite Warren Buckley from BT to come and talk to us as one of our sponsors here today. Okay, so we did a survey. And what worries me is that 3/4 of people in the UK are worried about shopping online. Now that's a problem, because if people are worried about shopping online, then some of them will abort their shopping baskets, they won't do business online, and if the UK's economy is going to succeed at the rate it is today, then we need confidence in the marketplace. 63% say their main concern is about their bank cards being stolen, and indeed that's happened to myself several times actually. And I must have read this checklist before I did it, that would have been useful. But also 10% worry that their item won't arrive, a really significant problem, and 6% worry that the item will be fake. Now of those 28% of people that had problems online, 50% said their item never arrived. And this harks back to the old days where trading standards officers up and down the country used to have with mail order shopping. And the same is true with e-commerce. But of course we're dealing with a whole global situation here. We can't just send in the local trading standards officer to kick the door down and deal with the problem. 20% experience fake goods being delivered. Now some people out there would actually know what they're getting into. They will actually purposely buy fakes because they can tell that because the price and the product and the place and the environment they're shopping in, they know it's fake. But we also know that a vast majority of people out there actually want to genuinely buy the genuine products. Okay. Fakes cost this country about £3 billion every year. That's a significant amount of money. This is some science, some statistics here about people, what would they do if they experience this sort of issue. 67% would report it to the trader, half of them would report it to the website or some kind of authorities, and 22% would report it in an online consumer forum. Now all those three, I think, are good examples. I would want them to do all three, personally. But 10% said they would just take it on the chin and not do anything about it, just write it off. I don't think in 2010 that's an acceptable figure, and I don't think that that's good enough for the United Kingdom. 10% of people are just prepared to take it on the chin. And that's why it's so important that consumers do a little bit of work before they carry out their transaction to avoid that sort of scenario. 27%, there's a significant amount of people are unsure how to check if a site is genuine or not. And people weren't sure when they're buying online that they have a 7-day cooling off period, that their goods should arrive within 30 days of order, and also that within that 7-day cooling off period, once they cancel, they have a further 30 days in which to receive the refund, including the postage, which some retailers seem to have forgotten. Okay, so signs to look out for. HTTPS. So when you're about to enter transactions online, look out for the S when you're tapping in your credit card details. Look out for the padlock, as well. And you'll see a couple of signs here, some schemes like VeriSign Limited, which uses something that I'm told is called secure socket layer certificates, which effectively is sort of encryption technology, which makes sure that there's a secure connection between your computer and the server where you're carrying out the transaction. ISIS goes a step further. It carries out a system where traders sign up to an agreed code of practice. So not only is the secure mechanisms in place, but also they agree to trade fairly, honest, legal, decent, truthful. But there's a couple of cases that I want to bring to your attention. Operation Albion was a case involving our Scambusters team that was working in conjunction with the City of London trading standards, looking at an online provider. Now this particular scam was based upon people who were unemployed, people looking for jobs. So they would target their customers through sites like Monster and Fish for Jobs to identify potential candidates. What they would do was lure them into a training program with the promise that they would be given a job at the end of it. Now the scam was, of course, you sign this credit agreement for this huge amount of money to do the training, and there'll be employment at the end of it. If you pass the course, the employer will pay you back the money. Of course, there was, in the majority of cases, the training never existed, but for some they were given a poor, low-quality online training solution, and naturally they never got employment at the end of it. That case is going to court quite soon, but needless to say, there are hundreds of consumers out there who are now in significant amount of debt, with no training at the end of it, and certainly no employment. Operation Ajax was another example where an online courier scam was developed. So basically what happened was that people would be looking for work as an online courier system. So the scam was that this company would pretend to create an online delivery service. So you could work for yourself, take what jobs you wanted, but the thing was you had to carry out a security check before you did it. So a CRB check, Criminal Records Bureau check. That would cost you £50 with the agency. No problem, a lot of people thought it's worth the investment. Naturally, the CRB check never existed, and nobody ever got any work out of this. That case is currently under investigation. The site has been closed down, and the Scambusters team involved have traced them to a Spanish district where the bank accounts from the financial investigator records suggest that about £400,000 has gone through their account in just the last 3 months. It looks like they're setting up the business again and again in different countries. As one's closed down, another one is set up. So the UK has responsibilities to deal with these, and trading standards and other authorities are doing a great job. But it's clear that we need to spread our wings a lot more globally if we're really going to tackle this thing. Okay, we want you to take away this checklist. We want you to tell everybody that you know about this checklist. So, if you're going to avoid this pitfall, choose the shopping site carefully. Help yourself to think about the price and the place and the packaging of the product if you can see it. So generally, fakes that are sold here are not sold at recommended retailer price levels. They're sold substantially cheaper for a reason. And that's what lures people in. And there's the old adage that if it looks too good to be true, it probably is, absolutely still holds true. I'm pleased to announce that we're developing a solution at the moment called Brand Eye. You'll see the logo at the bottom, which is going to complement the other schemes that exist out there. Where it's going to be a simple search engine, whereas if you want to search for a particular brand, it will bring up a list of authorized distributors that come directly from the brand holder. So there's no room for error, and we're very excited about that, and we're looking to launch that in just a few weeks' time. And I'm really pleased that GHD are the first people to sign up to that scheme, and we're looking to many, many more. Ensure the site is secure. Look out for the HTTPS and look out for the padlock. Contact the authorities if you spot something suspicious. Police will have a role, we will have a role. Through contact trading standards, you need to ring Consumer Direct. And keep a copy of the order. Records are hugely important if you're going to enforce your rights in law. Keep all acknowledgement receipts. How many of us hit that delete button as soon as the confirmation comes through? It's important that that's stored some way or other.